Harvey Dunn is sort of a giant. I mean, he's a mythical being in South Dakota. Whenever I talk to people about Harvey that knew him or, a relative knew him, they always talk about what an incredible big man he was, and I think most of that was just his presence. There's a story where he did 55 completed paintings in 11 weeks. I mean, the guy was just unbelievable because he carried that work ethic from the farm into his business as an illustrator. I always say he was one of the first feminists because all of his women are strong, they're grounded, they're central figures, out in the field with their apron on and dress, helping to pull wire or, do whatever they have to do. And so I think he grew up with really strong women and understood how important and essential they were to life out on the prairie.
The Art Museum has a special gallery where they always have artwork by Harvey Dunn, and they happen to have an exhibit called Feminine Images that featured paintings of women. And Lynn Brasher asked me to write poems to go along with those. The Harvey Dunn Collaborative Project is the final activity of a year-long celebration that SDSU has been undertaking to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Moral Act. This particular project is called An Evening with Dunn's Feminine Images. And the reason we gave it that title was because there is a collection of quotes that Harvey Dunn said to his students in the studio classroom, and that's published under the title An Evening in the Classroom. So we're combining my poetry and also the words of Harvey Dunn as he was speaking to his students. He would say these wonderful things that were like aphorisms for life, like it's full of mystery as it should be, or paint her more strongly. To be feminine is to be strong, not weak. We have professional dancers. We also have tiny little girls dancing, and it's just delightful to see it all come together, the excitement.
The movement is purely just sort of the live connection to those textures and the music and the layering of all the other artistic elements. I really wanted to have my students, both the professionals that dance with me at the studio as well as my younger students, be a part of the process. We spent just a lot of time looking at the paintings, and we talked a lot about their textures, their line, the colors that were used. We spent a lot of time listening to Darla's poetry, once again looking at that from a mover's perspective. What are the textures in the piece? What's the emotional impact of the words?
Mother, you stand guard among the prairie flowers, phlox, scarlet milkweed, wild roses.
In the picture, the mom standing right here with the sister beside, and we're like picking flowers.
Protecting these young children, your best things, with shears too dull for mending.
Listen carefully to the music and all of the layers and the textures and how they might relate to the layers and textures of the paintings.
We have 4 distinct paintings that we've chosen for this round. And so what I tried to do is create 4 distinct musical environments. So for instance, if we look at fixing fence, there's this urgency of getting the fence fixed before the weather comes and the animals can get loose, which, for a rancher could be a pretty detrimental thing. The underpinning of it is harmonically tense and rhythmically tense, but the melody is quite lyrical, actually. I wanted to set Darla's words to something beautiful because she wrote such beautiful words. If you think about after the blizzard, there's nothing out there. It's very expanse and snow, so I wanted to create something with drones where you might not even notice that we're in a different key or a different chord has arrived, but all of a sudden the wind has blown the snow into a different shape, and there we are. I figured you couldn't have an after the blizzard unless you actually had a blizzard. We layered on with my student percussion ensemble, glockenspiel, and then some vibraphone, and then some drums, and until we had these initial layers that just piled on top and on top of each other until we lost the motive, and it's just chaotic there for a minute.
My role in the Harvey Dunn project is to illustrate these paintings in order to acknowledge and maintain the original integrity of those iconic paintings and not push it over the top with too much animation. Images of the paintings were broken up, separated, almost like a traditional collage would if you were actually cutting up pictures, so that it looks like the real painting. And using virtual camera moves, we're able to integrate some subtly dynamic movement into the image and also make some movement within some of the elements in the painting.
The subtlety of Cable's animations are amazing. He was able to take the paintings and bring them to life in a way that was so graceful.
Yes, it is about dance, it's about music and poetry, but let's not forget that these paintings were the original inspiration for all of this.
For the college, it is, I think, a model for interdisciplinary collaboration. There is an extensive incorporation of students, both college-age students and younger children, in this particular production. I really see my colleagues from across the college watching this and being inspired.
We would have these morning meetings, Mondays or Fridays, down in the basement of the Art Museum, and Lynn would always have coffee on, which is good if you're going to have an 8 o'clock morning meeting. Maybe I would bring in a new 30 seconds or 45 seconds of music that I've been working on, and Cable would bring in a new animation that he'd been working on, and we could sit and really share what we've been working on with everybody, just in this really supportive environment.
The significance of the Harvey Dunn piece is that it shows how different areas can come together and work together to build meaning that was previously not there before. The dance informs the music. The music definitely informs the dance. And animation can be informed by pictures and words and music and movements as well.
We purposefully chose familiar regional images such as "The Prairie is My Garden," "Girl Driving Oxen," "Fixing Fence," "After the Blizzard," things that would pay homage to the regional aspect of our campus and to the moral act.
I think we were all really open to listening and hearing what the other collaborators had to say about our work, and it was just a generous process, and I would love to see the piece just grow and let us get it finished.
It takes it to a whole level that Dunn would have absolutely appreciated, because he was very dramatic, very theatrical, and I'm sure he is just smiling about this whole production.
Mother, tell us.
You just kind of let go of everything and you just go into it, and it's chaos back here. But I think we've practiced it so many times, and then getting in front of an audience, it kind of brings back that passion again. And once we can really embody the movement and the poetry and the music, then I think that just makes the show like that much better.
I get kind of homesick for this place and for these people, because I grew up dancing, here. And so just to be able to come back and be a part of this, there aren't any counts to our piece. We just breathe and feel each other and watch each other. It's amazing, and it feels like it's home.